Welcome back to Chad's Campfire Tales. As we're in a festive season, I feel we should have a fitting story. This tale is of a little fir tree who longed to be large and beautiful, just like all the other fir trees. So find a seat by the fire, grab your cup of hot cocoa, and let's embark on a journey together. Once upon a time, out in the woods stood a nice little fir tree. The place he had was a very good one. The sun shone on him as to fresh air. There was enough of that, and round him grew many large-sized comrades, pines as well as firs. But the little fir wanted so very much to be a grown-up tree. He did not think of the warm sun and of the fresh air. He did not care for the little cottage children that ran about prattled when they were in the woods looking for wild strawberries. The children often came with a whole pitcher full of berries, or a long row of them threaded on a straw and sat down near the young tree and said, "Oh, how pretty he is! What a nice little fir!" But this was what the tree could not bear to hear. At the end of the year he had shot up a good deal, and after another year he was another long bit taller. And for with fir trees one can always tell by the shoots how many years old they are. "Oh, were I but such a high tree as the others," sighed he, "then I should be able to spread out my branches, and with the tops to look into the wide world. Then with the birds build nests among my branches, and when there was a breeze I could bend with as much stateliness as the others." Neither the sunbeams nor the birds, nor the red clouds which morning and evening sailed above him, gave the little tree any pleasure. In winter, when the snow lay glittering on the ground, a hare would often come leaping along and jumping right over the little tree. Oh, that made him so angry. But 2 winters were past, and in the third the tree was so large that the hare was obliged to go round it. To grow and grow, to get older and be tall, thought the tree. That after all is the most delightful thing in the world. In autumn, the woodcutters always came and fell at some of the largest trees. This happened every year, and the young fir tree, that had now grown to a very comely size, trembled at the sight, for the magnificent great trees fell to the earth with noise and cracking. The branches were loped off, and the trees looked long and bare. They were hardly to be recognized, and then they were laid in carts, and the horses dragged them out of the wood. Where did they go to? What became of them? In spring, when the swallows and storks came, the tree asked them, "Don't you know where they have been taken? Have you not met them anywhere?" The swallows did not know anything about it, but the stork looked musing, nodded his head, and said, "Yes, I think I know. I met many ships as I was flying hither from Egypt. On the ships were magnificent masts, and I venture to assert that it was they that smelt so of fir. I may congratulate you, for they lifted themselves on the high most majestically. Oh, were I but old enough to fly across the sea! But how does the sea look in reality? What is it like?" "That will take a long time to explain," said the stork, and with these words off he went. "Rejoice in the growth," said the sunbeams. "Rejoice in thy vigorous growth, and in the fresh life that moveth within thee." And the wind kissed the tree, and they wept tears over him, but the fir understood it not. When Christmas came, quite young trees were cut down, trees which often were not even as large or of the same age as the fir tree, who could never rest, but always wanted to be off. These young trees, and they were always the finest looking, retained their branches. They were laid on carts, and those horses drew them out of the woods. "Where are they going to?" asked the fir. "They are not taller than I. There was one indeed that was considerably shorter. And why do they retain all their branches? Whither are they taken?" We know," chirped the sparrows. "We have peeped in the windows in the town below. We know whither they are taken. The greatest splendor and the greatest magnificence one can imagine wait them. We peeped through the windows, and I saw them planted in the middle of the warm room and ornamented with most splendid things, with gilded apples, with gingerbread, with toys, and many hundreds lights. And then, asked the fir tree, trembling in every bough, and then, what happens then? We did not see anything more. It was incomparably beautiful. I would fain know if I'm destined for so glorious a career, cried the tree, rejoicing. That is still better than cross the sea. What a longing do I suffer, where Christmas but come. I am now tall, and my branches spread like the others that were carried off last year. Oh, were I but already on the car, were I in warm room with all the splendors of magnificence. Yes, then something better, something still grander, will surely follow. Or wherefore should they thus ornament me? Something better, something still grander must follow. But what? Oh, how I long, how I suffer. I do not know myself. What is the matter with me? Rejoice in our presence, said the air and the sunlight. Rejoice in thy own fresh youth. But the tree did not rejoice at all. He grew and grew and was not green both winter and summer. People that saw him said, "What a fine tree!" And towards Christmas he was one of the first that was cut down. The axe struck deep into the very pith. The tree fell to the earth with a sigh. He felt a pang. It was like a swoon. He could not think of happiness, for he was sorrowful at being separated from his home, from the place where he had sprung up. He well knew that he would never see his dear old comrades, the little bushes and flowers around him, any more, perhaps not even the birds. The departure was not at all agreeable. And that will be all for today's adventures. Thank you all for joining us on this journey, and come back to the camp for part 2 of our story. See you all next time.